How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SNDL Sundial growers. We saw, hey, it pulled back quite a bit and it ended up visiting the 70-cent range again, being around 79 cents. You guys know I love to accumulate in that particular area. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the video. So let's go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, and the move that we need to look for in regards to SNDL looking bullish. And then secondly, we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information on Fintel. Does it still continue to have that short squeeze potential? Are shorts going in even heavier? We're about to find out. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know, are institutions loading up on shares? Are they getting involved in the action? And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping into the final thoughts. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SNDL. So when we see how it performed, it ended up being up 0.11%, closing at 81 cents. When we take a look at where it tested on the low, it tested in the 70-cent range again here at 79 cents. And also we could see here on the high touching 82 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, it was at 66.297 million. And as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, it's at 95.534 million. So we did have some below average volume today for SNDL, but do keep in mind, I just feel this is a sector rotation here. So I feel like SNDL still has some time to make its pop, especially with earnings right around the corner. So the chart that we're actually using is the 1-year daily chart. Let's see how it's lining up with our indicators. We can see from the RSI down below, it's right around 44.49. So yes, it is in the oversold territory, fairly close to the middle, but of course it is still oversold. Now, when we take a look at the indicators on our chart, you can see clearly we are below the 100-day. We're also below the 200-day, and we're also below the 21-day EMA. So one of the things that I want to see from SNDL is being able to hold up this area. We've been able to see that this 80-cent range has definitely been an area of support, but if it does decide to pull back like it did today, and the 70-cent range, you guys know this is the area where I like to accumulate some shares so we can trade off of those fluctuations. So even when we go further back, we can see right over here we do have some support at the 71-cent level. So I'll be very curious to see if it can continue to hold up. We haven't visited this area in a very long time, since May, so I'm going to look forward to the fact that, you know what, we're not going to be revisiting it, and the low probably that we can actually get to will probably be here around 76 cents. So just be aware of that if it does decide to pull back further, but of course I see this as an opportunity. In order for it to start gaining some strength and looking bullish again, it's definitely going to have to come back here to reclaiming the 200-day and as well as the 21-day EMA, and we're talking about 84 cents or higher. If it can make this move, then of course we do have that resistance, and we've seen many times already right at the 90-cent level, 89-cent area. So we have to look forward to actually seeing ourselves actually break through this. But if you got in at 79 and if you wanted to do an exit right around 89, that's already 10% right there. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for SNDL Sundial growers. So as we scroll down on the page, the short shares availability is at 8.7 million shares updated 20 minutes ago. And as far as for the short ball free rate, it is at 1.03%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, taking the numbers from FINRA, for August the 2nd, you can see we're at 55.16, with the day before having 55.61. Hey, they were switching the numbers around on us. So anyways, so what we need to know and be aware of course, there continues to be short squeeze potential for SNDL. Do keep in mind, they do have earnings that is coming up. So as far as this dip that you're seeing, there's definitely could be some opportunities here. And again, with the short squeeze potential, who knows? You could probably get that push that we're looking for, especially getting into that 90-cent range. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SNDL. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 16.18. And then on the outflow, it was at 17.05. Now, when we take a look at the large scale orders, it's 0 for both. On the medium for the inflow is at 9.52, and on the small it was at 6.66. Keep in mind this is in the millions. And on the medium side for the outflow, it was at 11.46, and on the small it was 5.59. So yes, we did end up having an outflow day. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, zeros continue to be down the board. So institutions are not taking part in regards to large scale orders. And like we spoke about, if they are taking part, then it's definitely going to be on the small scale and as well as on the medium side. It's just very hard to tell because again, this is also taking into consideration retail investors, so people like you and I. So what I want to look forward to, I want to see some anticipation in regards to earnings. But if it does decide to pull back a little bit so you can make sure that you have a great entry, hey, I have no problems with that because you guys know I love to accumulate when it's cheap. So now let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, there's definitely a lot to look forward to here, especially if you are a swing trader. I've been talking about it for quite some time on this channel, how you can make consistent money off of SNDL. Anytime it gets into that 70-cent range, whether it's 79, 78, even if it pulled back further, that's an opportunity for you to consider actually getting into a position. And then soon as when you see that, make it that move going into the high 80s or where it's kind of been flirting, even when it gets to around 90, literally that's just over 10 cents a share. In many cases, that's well over 10%. An example of this, let's say for example, you got a position around 79 cents and you said, well, you know what? I'm going to be selling it around 88. Look at that right there, just over a 10% gain. So I want you to take that into consideration and don't be frustrated if you see it pulling back. Of course, if you do believe in the long-term prospects, this would not be applicable to you because you're looking at it like, hey, I already know SNDL is going to be worth way more than $1 1 year from now. And you know what? I'm fairly bullish on it as well due to the fact they do have a good cash position. They've been making the right investments. And also on their most recent earnings report, we did see an improved EBITDA, and we're definitely going to be looking forward to seeing improvements for the next one that's going to be coming. But do be aware, since there's a lot of traders, they're going to be playing off of the anticipation, so that's something to be aware of. Also, when we took a look at Fintel, we can see the shorts are definitely heavily vested in this play. So it has a ton of short squeeze potential. So what could possibly happen here if they go on their earnings and they ended up blowing it right out of the water? We could look forward to seeing a strong move to the upside. That is the best case scenario here. But one thing also to know, if we end up getting a catalyst that comes through the cannabis industry, so another big name that ends up putting up some good earnings results, then of course SNDL could actually benefit from this. The reason why I talk about this because I want to make sure you guys formulate the right strategy so you can make consistent profits off of this play. It's really not that hard. It just takes some discipline. And of course, this is not financial advice. I'm just kind of sharing my experiences, of course. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and we'll be talking real soon.